feel like I need to explain a little bit about my mom's mom. First of all, she loves to fish. She's a hell of a fisherwoman. She, along with my grandfather, had an amazing garden. She probably thought the things that she was doing was for the best. Unfortunately, the consequences of the things that she did has broken a family apart. My grandmother was born to a woman whom I don't know much about. My mom only remembers her from when she was a little girl. But they say that she was one of the meanest women to ever walk the earth, one of the meanest people to ever walk the earth, and said that her and my grandmother had arguments from the time that my grandmother was a young girl. And there are stories saying that my grandmother used to physically abuse her mother back, that there would be times that she would take her mother's glasses and break them, and then run off to go do the things she wanted to do, and then the mother would come back with consequences. So it was just entirely an unhealthy thing, and they say that they passed that along to my mom, which she's the mean type. She just, I don't know, that lack of connection. But anyway, my grandmother is a very, very controlling person. My grandmother has it set in her mind exactly how a person should look and act and be. And it all really comes down to looks. If you are slender and you are attractive and you have healthy skin and you are just a pleasant, good-looking person, then you also automatically have intelligence. You automatically have the deserving of everything that's good. You should have the best cars, the best clothes, the best husbands, the best homes, live on the best streets, eat the best foods, because of the way that you looked. If you were an unattractive person, and God forbid you had any weight on you, then you were just the scum of the earth to her. She had no use for you. You didn't fit the mold that she wanted any part of, and God forbid being family, because she didn't want ugly people in her family. So I, being a large person, have always been ostracized by my grandmother. There's a video where she, kind of popped off about me killing myself. She used to make me eat standing up, so that it wouldn't stop in my middle. She used to constantly, can't get clothes for you because they probably won't fit by the time, I can get them to you the way you're porking up, or no one's ever going to want you, you don't look this way, so you're going to be alone the rest of your life, and basically you're not going to get any prettier, but you might be able to starve yourself down and be skinny enough to be acceptable enough for somebody. It was horrible, and that was my whole life, man. That was from then until now, and it has gotten to the point that I just don't go around her anymore. And she does this to the rest of the family. You can meet my grandmother for a few moments and you can think that she's awesome, and honestly, you will go toe-to-toe with someone in the family who has a different opinion. But you guys don't remember that we lived there. We've lived with it. We've seen it. I'm 43. I know the ins and outs of things that you'll never imagine that are within our closets as skeletons and such. But she'll have people fooled that she's just got it all together, but she just really, really does not. She was controlling to my grandfather. She was mean to my mother and my mom's sister. Growing up, she would literally, they would wake up to her having shotguns pointed at them, counting backwards from 10 and saying, when I get to 0, you know what's going to happen. And they fled for their lives. They hid in the neighborhoods and ran for their lives for the most part of their youth, their young lives. She dressed them like twins when they're 2 years apart, and had tried to convince people they were twins, and of course people just looked at her like she was crazy. just psychologically, you're never good enough, never going to be good enough, never worth anything. She thought that if you had a home that had a fireplace, then that was somebody. People who had a home with fireplaces. Well, I lived in a house that actually ended up being condemned by the city, and there's a story coming up about that. But it had a fireplace, and was not going to step foot there because I was trash, and who was I to be portraying myself to be someone else by living in a house with a fireplace? Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Never good enough. Always on eggshells. Never going to amount to nothing. Never going to be nobody and accept your white trash and settle down and get ready to just take up space until the good Lord takes you out, because you weren't going to bring home any trophies. So anyway, it was crazy, and I did all the opposite, which is crazy, because I was in journalism and this, that, and the other, but she never accepted it because I was a heavy person. I mean, I did a lot of fun things, and I did them on my own. If you'll watch other videos, you'll see I did a lot of things on my own, and plenty to be proud of, but they didn't know what they had. My family didn't know what they had. I mean, I'm a jewel that just needs to be polished, and I'm still working on it. A lot of good here, and they never knew it. But anyway, that's kind of the relationship between me and my grandmother. There really is none. She's lied on me. She's used and abused, and whoever she's talking to is her favorite at the moment, and she talks crap about the others. She's broken into homes and went through people's things. She's lied on people. She'll give somebody $20 just to tell somebody else she gave them $20 just to stir it all up. Takes advantage of people. And I know there's good sides, but I wasn't exposed to too much of that. So I'm sure there was a good side. I'm sure people have better stories than I do. And I wish I knew them. But I don't. Anyway, that's the relationship between me and my grandma. Have a good day. Bye.